Let's have a look at what's happening around the world with our international panel tonight. Sky News contributor Kosha Gada and former Liberal MP Michael Danby. Welcome to you both. Let's start with Israel. Prime Minister Netanyahu, I mentioned this, dismantles his war cabinet, was set up to bring a unified approach to the war against Hamas. Michael, not a good look probably, disagreements within a war cabinet. What do you make of it?
Definitely a Labor member, by the way, but I think Gantz has left the government. He is not going to get an election, unfortunately, because Bibi still has 64 of the 120 members of their parliament. Now, the army says that in the next 2 weeks, the last 2 organised battalions of Hamas will be ground up, and then they could theoretically switch to counterinsurgency warfare, and then the Israelis could go to an election. But that can't happen, unfortunately, because Iran's proxy in northern Israel, Hezbollah, is got 120,000 Israelis displaced from their homes, and they may start another war. So it's he's got a narrow majority, but I don't think there can be progress on the Israeli side to a change of government.
Kosha, imagine me calling Michael a Liberal. I need to go home and wash my mouth out. We've got 2 weeks from the first presidential debate, 2024, the Trump and Biden campaigns. Now, they've agreed on the rules. I find this fascinating. A 90-minute debate. The candidates' microphones will be muted. I wonder who that's for. And there'll be no audience and no props on the stage and in the studio. I think that's probably designed for Joe, don't you?
I think not having the live studio audience certainly mutes one of the competitive advantages of Trump, because he tends to feed off the energy of crowds, for sure. But he also has a lot of other competitive advantages in general, and certainly as it compares to Joe Biden. One is that he's very used to and actually thrives in adversarial situations, whether it's with a hostile media or with other adversaries or judges in courtrooms and all of that. And the second is he really does have a genuine constituency. Love him or hate him, he actually has real organic support at scale. And I think everybody would agree that does not seem to be the case on the other side. And so even if those people are not in the room in a studio audience, he can channel that. He's battle tested, he's road tested, he can think quickly on his feet. And I think he'll do just fine. He'll probably be fighting 1-on-2 because the moderators everybody expects, as they tend to be, will probably come in and intervene on behalf of Joe Biden more than they do for Trump.
Yeah, one of the other advantages he has over Joe, Kosha, of course, is he will actually know he's in a room, as opposed to Joe Biden, who probably hasn't got any clue where he is. That debate, by the way, will be on CNN, the presidential debate. You'll be able to see it live here on Sky News. That'll be from 11 a.m. on Friday, the 28th. Russia, the president, Vladimir Putin, Michael, is off to North Korea. First time in 24 years for a friendly state visit. I imagine it won't be all that friendly, would it be?
Look, this is big news, Steve. The Australians and other people in democracies have to focus on the fact that the authoritarians are all working together: North Korea, Iran, China, and Russia. So previously, even the Russians and the Chinese stayed away from North Korea because they regarded them as mad as cut snakes. But the Iranians provide Russia with the drones to murder civilians by the hundreds in Ukrainian cities. And the North Koreans provide them, the broken Russian manufacturing sector, with the basic artillery shell, 155 millimetre. So all of these people are working very closely together, and we all have to be very mindful of the fact that they pose a danger to all of us. The Iranians go for the Israelis, the Russians go for the Ukrainians, and God forbid, before the American election, some Chinese general decides it's time to launch a blockade of Taiwan.